When Warner Brothers Discovery made the decision to hire James Gunn as head of the DC universe, and he made the announcement, hey guys, we're gonna reboot basically this entire thing. Henry Cavill, gone. Gal Gadot, probably gone. All these different people that you liked or cared about or went to the movies for, we're just gonna erase them. We're gonna start fresh because we think we need a new start for the DC universe. They did that knowing that they still had several movies to release. Shazam, Blue Beetle, The Flash, and Aquaman 2, which sounds like that's going to be a total and complete nightmare. So people were really curious, what would the box office results for these things be? Well, the first one out of the gate after the announced reboot was Shazam 2: Fury of the Gods, and it's been a total and complete catastrophe for Warner Brothers and for DC. It was a total flop, the worst thing we've ever seen in the DCEU as it sits here now. $132 million at the worldwide box office. It's not doing anything else. It's already been released digitally, all these things. This is a nightmare and a catastrophic flop for them. A movie that had a production budget of around $110 to $125 million. Marketing, they spent another over $100 million on. When you factor in the box office cuts and all these things, they're going to lose easily over $100 million on this, and it's not even close. And now we're finding out that Warner Brothers is blaming at least some of that in part on James Gunn and this big announcement, the big reboot announcement. And you've heard people talk about this a lot. You've heard people say it's James Gunn's fault that they announced the reboot. Why should I care about this? Why should I care about this story if it doesn't connect to anything? That's the sole reason why this thing flopped. I'm not going to say it's the sole reason, not even close, but there's no doubt that that had to have some sort of impact. And apparently even Warner Brothers Discovery thinks that. Warner Brothers blames James Gunn's DC reboot for some of Shazam 2's poor performance. Shazam: Fury of the Gods proved to be a massive disappointment at the box office, and Warner Brothers Discovery seems to think James Gunn's upcoming DCU reboot may be to blame. As Gunn and Safran chart course to launch the first projects in Chapter 1, the final project of the old DC regime continued to trickle out. Shazam 2, The Flash, Blue Beetle, Aquaman, like we talked about. Kicking off the year was Fury of the Gods, which suffered the worst DCEU opening ever and released right as the COVID-19 pandemic was kicking off. That didn't literally have much of an effect on Birds of Prey, if I remember the timing of that release. Director David Sandberg reacted to the disappointment as he shared his shock at Shazam's negative reviews, his lack of surprise at the sequel's poor box office results. Warner Brothers blames James Gunn. According to a report from The Wrap, Warner Brothers Discovery may be blaming box office disappointment at least partially on James Gunn's upcoming DCU reboot. The sequel was projected for a $35 to $38 million domestic opening, already far below the $53 million, but ultimately left its March 17th first weekend with just $30 million domestic and $65 worldwide. The Wrap sources claim reaching the $35 million projection would have been taken as a reasonable outcome. Why? That would still be almost tied for the worst box office result in DCEU history. But the studio thinks Gunn's upcoming reboot dipped general audience interest in Shazam 2 and in the existing universe. But they do think the new rebooted projects will be able to overcome this hurdle when it gets underway. Here's the thing. I get that, and I get a lot of people saying that, and there's no doubt that that probably had some small impact. As they stated, they said that they'd be cool with $35 million, but the $30 million was just disappointing. $35 million is fucking embarrassing. So you're blaming the James Gunn announcement for that $5 million in difference. If it was just the problem was the reboot, look at Black Adam. Black Adam also lost money. Black Adam also flopped at the box office. Despite The Rock trying to put out a fake report about the budget to try to make it look different. No, that is a movie that lost 70, 80, almost $100 million for Warner Brothers as well. That movie happened before James Gunn's reboot was announced. That was in the box office before all of this stuff went down. So it's not like you can blame it on that. So what are you going to blame the Black Adam flop on? So I definitely think you could put a little bit of blame on there for some people that, oh, this isn't going to connect to anything. People knew Joker wasn't going to connect to anything. That made $1 billion at the box office. So sometimes it really just does come down to quality and people's interest in it. What do you guys think? That's what I want to know. How much impact did this have? How much money did Shazam 2 lose at the box office because of the James Gunn announcement? And is it interesting that Warner Brothers believes that that reboot announcement is part of the reason that this thing failed? Let me know in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.